I tell you what, we need to talk to this coach that's 3-0 right now, dude, because if there's one thing that's happening down south of us again is what Coach Kunkel, Brent Kunkel's done with the Bluffton Tigers. Hello, Coach. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, guys. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Well, I tell you, you've got it rolling again down there in Bluffton, and we were just talking about Coach Kolkman, who I think was also now down in there in that vicinity. We had his former team Friday night up at Woodland, and they're a really good ball club. Heritage is, but you got it going 3-0. You got some talented players. You got a young sophomore quarterback that's kind of lighting it up. Is it Bestie? Is that how you pronounce his name?
It's Axton Best.
So, Axton Best. Okay. Yep. I didn't know if the E was silent or not. I missed English class. So
sure.
Big win, South Adams, 33-7. Talk about the start of the year. I mean, that was probably your first major test, but it really wasn't a test.
I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but yeah, it's a great start for our program. I saw the stat on the internet, so it's got to be true. But the first time that Bluffton's been 3-0 in back-to-back seasons in school history, and our program goes back to 1920. So
yeah,
we'll take that stat, whether it's true or not, and run with it this week. Obviously we're very happy about where we're at, but a long way to go. You mentioned teams like Heritage, Woodland, who we got this week. We got some really talented schools on our schedule coming up. So, very happy with our start. We got some good, talented young kids, but they're still really young. We're placing 18 seniors off of last year's team and 19 starters total. So it's the start has been a pleasant surprise, I'll say.
Well, the one thing that I noticed, and going back to whether or not you're a record-breaking statistical analysis, that's Dude's category. So I'm sure he can confirm or deny any facts that may found on the internet.
Justin Kenny said it, so it's got to be.
Yeah, there you go. He can still fact checking, but yeah, you are a young football team. The best kid that you talked about, young quarterback already, 77% of his passes, very accurate for a young kid. But he's also one of your leading rushers, along with the Moore kid, who's averaging, I think, about 183. He's got 183 yards on the year or something like that. But you're getting a lot of production out of young guys.
Yeah, and that's what we needed to have. Like I said, we have a senior class this year of only 5. We had the senior class last year, most successful class in school history. We had 17 of those guys. So this year we kind of knew we were going to be relying heavily on some young kids, and we really like our young skill kids. Talk about Axton, Kunkel, Cooper Craig's a sophomore running back who was an all-conference player for us last year. AJ Strevler is just a junior, but he's a 2-time all-conference receiver, started every game since he's been in high school. So we got a lot of young, talented, skilled kids, but as much as you try to simulate things in practice, you don't really know what's going to happen when those lights come on Fridays. And first couple of weeks kind of hit took a little while to get going, but the way we came out Friday was very, very cool for our guys to come out and perform that way. South Adams, in our opinion, is a rivalry game. That's their school not far from us. And, they've kind of been at the top half or so of the conference since I've been the head coach the last 8 years. And the kids know each other. I enjoy Grant. He's a good friend of mine, the coaching staff. So that was a good win for us on Friday, going against what we consider one of our biggest rivals for sure.
Sure. Coach Brent Kunkel joining us from the Bluffton Tigers. Coach, back-to-back sectional titles, off to a 3-0 start. 7 of the last 8 games you guys have won dating back to last year, just minus that regional game. The growth, the momentum that this program has built with different guys coming in. I mean, just talk about that and what, the longevity that you guys have been able to put into this program to make it successful to that point where each and every year we're having that conversation now about Bluffton being one of the best teams in the ACC, going for a sectional title, the chance to make a deep run. Just talk about that part of the Bluffton program and what you've been able to build there?
Yeah, I think it starts with a consistency. When I got the job 8 years ago, I was the 8th coach in 15 years. And it's really kind of hard to build any kind of long lasting, successful program if you keep having that kind of turnover. You look at Adams Central, they've had 2 coaches in about 40 years, and that's that level of tradition that they have. And that's what we're all trying to get to. So it starts with consistency. The message that we preach, we talk about family, forget about me, I love you. We tell our guys that we love them, we care for them, we invest in them on and off the field. And when you do that, and then you kind of get some results on the field, well, now more kids want to show up and play. So we've got a great youth program. I got Bluffton guys coordinating flag and peewee and middle school. And so it's top to bottom. We've got the right people in place, and we've got guys coaching kids, what we feel is the right way. And kids have bought in, and, I'm nothing, I'm no magician or anything, man. I'm just a football coach who cares about these kids, and they've responded to the message. And, we've had things growing here these past couple of years, and there's a lot of guys who came before me who kind of helped pave the way. You mentioned Casey Kolkman. I actually got my start as an assistant when Casey was at Bluffton, going back 14 years ago now. So now the tides have turned a little bit, and I've let them know that a couple times on Friday night so far. But then, Coach Metler, who coached with me as well, who's a Bluffton guy for years and years. So there's a lot of people who put a lot of time and energy into this program. And, we're kind of just finally seeing some results of all that hard work.
Sure. Looking ahead this week, you move on in the ACAC conference here with Woodland, a team that is kind of trying to find itself again with Brock Rohrbacher coming in. Good, tough kids. We saw them on Friday night. That ACAC style of football week in, week out, and another one this week. You guys have them at home. Just the preparations from one week to the next in your conference. Just talk about that and just how, it's a loaded conference and really a lot of great teams, and just turning that page and getting ready for the next one and keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Really, since I became the head coach here, we've kind of elevated Bluffton's level significantly, I think, since we've been doing this. But the other schools have as well. You look at our conference, and there's really no what you'd call off weeks. We go from South Adams, who's they played for a state championship, 3-4 years ago. Grant's got a great program. Woodland is always tough. Those kids are just hard-nosed. We got Jay County after that, the biggest school in our conference with a Hall of Fame coach like Coach Zagunda. Southern Wells, new coach this year, but here Coach Blaker's doing a good job. But that's a rivalry game for us, so they're always up to play us. And then we go Heritage AC, like I said, and those are the kind of the big boys of the conference right now. So there are really no off weeks, and every week you got to prepare the best you can. Woodland presents their own level of challenges this week. Coach Rohrbacher and his full house tee, and you're not really sure where the ball's going and when. Coach Griff probably really likes that style, I'm sure. So
hey, I'm a spread it out guy now. I'm a former quarterback. That straight tee stuff, forget it.
So it's going to be a challenge for us for sure. The Fleet kid is probably one of the best, if not the best athlete that we'll see in our conference schedule. Tremendously talented defensive player, runs the ball hard. And, Woodland's always got some good kids. So it's going to be a big time challenge for us. Luckily we get them at home, be our first home game of the year. So we're excited about that, and new turf, new track, all that kind of stuff is finally installed. So we'll be ready to go Friday night.
So you got a whole new shiny toy then.
Whole new shiny toy. Yep, absolutely.
You got the football field and the track. That's
absolutely
good.
Right.
The football
coach is happy. The track coach is happy. Happens to be the same person. So yeah, we're all right.
Yeah, you can't be accused of taking sides, I guess, in that regard, can you? Smart man. Well, like you said, you got Woodland coming up. I agree with you. Fleek is a phenomenal player on both sides of the ball for him. Otherwise, a very young team that Coach Rohrbacher is trying to rebuild up, and I don't think he'd have taken the job if he didn't feel like it was on the cusp of being something that he could get back to the glory days of Lee Etzler and things of that nature. But for you guys, you know, you got Woodland, you got Jay County, you got Southern Wells, and then you go back to back Heritage and Adams Central. As a coach, I know how hard it is sometimes when you're 3-0, your kids are feeling really good, and you worry about complacency slipping into the equation when you know you're going to be playing teams that maybe your kids know that you're better than. How do you fight that off?
That's the message tomorrow. You know, Friday night was a very emotional, big time win for us. You know, there's a lot of things that kind of went on during the course of last week that kind of pulled guys' attention a lot of different ways. And to come out and play like we did with that level of fire and intensity was awesome. But, you know, Coach, like dealing with a young team, you know, when you hit that high, it's really hard to come back the next week and be as motivated as you were. So the message tomorrow to the guys is like, you know, hey, we're 3-0. That's great. But you've got a really, really talented group coming in. You know, yeah, they're 1 and 2 coming in, but they've played, you know, some good schools in Eastside and Heritage, obviously, you know. So the message for us is got to be, hey, we got to keep focused on us. You know, we're still learning. We're still figuring out how to do things. You know, Woodland's going to present Axum some looks I'm sure he hasn't seen yet. You know, on the offensive side and defense, you know, we're still, like I said, that offense is tough to figure out. You know, if you don't have eye discipline and know where things go, you know, all of a sudden Fleet gets a crease and he's gone for 60 down the sideline. So it's a very big challenge for us, but our kids have responded to everything so far. Just talking about humility, staying humble, staying in the moment, you know, focus on getting better every day. And then, you know, yeah, those Heritage game is going to obviously be a big game for us this year with Coach Colquhoun back on our sideline. You know, and AC is the cream of the crop, the standard in the conference. So, but we got a long way to go before we get to them. Like I said, Jay County's very good. Woodland's very good. Southern Wells is a rivalry game for us. So, but yeah, the back end of the schedule definitely picks up a little bit.
No, I agree. And I know that's the one thing that I saw after you know, come off of a good win at Manchester on the road, I believe. And then you get South Adams on the road and you get another big win. All of a sudden you look at the schedule and your kids may be taking a deep breath because of what's in front of you and trying to fight that complacency, whether it be in practice, and that leads to game forming, you know, bad habits that lead to game. And I don't know if you saw the Heritage game against Woodland. Heritage in the first half was, I mean, it was ugly football. Just basically they fumbled the ball twice inside of their own.
Well, it was 7-6,
right?
You know, and halfway through the third quarter, and then Woodland touched a punt.
Yeah,
gave Heritage the ball.
That was the play, and it was kind of I don't know if it was so quick and turned around so quickly there that I'm not even sure how that all transpired, but that one play changed it all.
Absolutely.
And Heritage had given up many opportunities to really put themselves in front for good early on in the first half, but they let Woodland hang around. And when you give a team hope, it's like sharks with blood in the water. And all of a sudden they up their play, and now you're fighting tooth and nail just to find a way to win. And now they did it. And they're a really good football team, got some good athletes as well. So I appreciate the fact that you're up, probably going to do your best coaching here for the next 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks or so, just from the standpoint of remaining in that mindset of allowing your kids to feel good about 3-0, but not too good that they forget what it took to get there.
I mean, the good thing with a young team is that they haven't experienced it all yet, so they don't really know. But the bad thing with coaching a young team is they haven't experienced it yet, so they don't really know. You know what I mean? So, and that's really what we faced the first couple of weeks. You know, even with Blackhawk, Manchester, we kind of had slow starts. And like I said, the way we came out Friday night was really, really great for our kids. So hopefully we can have more of that and less of the slow stuff that we had weeks 1 and 2.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you jumping on here with us this evening, and good luck the rest of the year. And I'm sure we will find the Tigers down the road at some point. And best of luck as you head off on this journey that you guys are on, and all the best. Stay healthy.
Appreciate
and
that.
Enjoy the new turf and the new track.
Will do. You know, we've had a standing date regional week the last 2 years, so I'd love to,
That's right.
love to make that a three-peat. So,
Yeah, I agreed.
Long way to go before that. Very talented teams in front of us, but always appreciate you guys having me on. You guys are a great time to listen to, and I know you guys enjoy doing this, and I enjoy the fact you guys cover us. So appreciate it.
All right, partner. Have a good one. Good luck to the Tigers the rest of the way, and thanks for your time, Coach, as well.